December has arrived. In addition to all of the holiday festivities, it is also ski season. Those of us planning to hit the slopes will be hoping for good weather conditions, which can make or break the experience. But can weather break the business model too? Stay tuned as we discuss it right here on UBS Trending. Hi everyone, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm your host, Michelle LaLiberty. Happy to be here today with my colleague and teammate, Amantia Muhadini. Amantia, let's get right to it. So I grew up in New England. I spent a lot of time skiing. Nowadays, I'm more often in the lodge. But let me ask you, I know you're thinking about weather quite a bit as it relates to investments. So anything to add here as we go into ski season?
Of course. So we think about the weather, but more importantly, we think about the climate, right? How the weather comes together over multiple decades and what this means for our economic lives and our personal lives. So holiday season, ski season, especially for us at UBS with a big presence in Switzerland, which is one of the largest ski tourism markets in the world. So we kind of took a look this year. What does ski tourism look like for the season and forward-looking? What's the future of skiing in light of changing climate patterns?
That's great. Yeah, so when you think about the future of skiing, of course, like I said, we're all hoping for good conditions. But outside of just whether or not there will be enough snow to get down the slopes, I've also seen photos of resorts out west with ski lifts buried in snow. So what does that mean for these operators that are trying to think about how to plan for their businesses?
Oh yeah, I mean, too much snow, too little snow, it's all a problem. You're talking about these resorts who are covered in snow. Last year, we also remember pictures from Switzerland, from Davos, where normally, historically, you would have expected lots of snow in the background of these global business leaders having meetings, and instead it was sort of dearth of snow, which is quite striking. And so broadly, really what this tells us is that it's becoming harder to make predictable investments and planning, especially when you're looking a few years out versus, this year probably meteorologists have a good sense of what snow cover will look like. If we look historically, what we've seen has been essentially a warming weather, right? You're seeing on the chart here the number of years where the average temperature of the year is higher, that's in red, versus lower in blue, compared to the 100-year average. So we've clearly had more years with higher average temperatures, and that has meant less snow cover. Specifically, in the Alps region, which welcomes more than half of global skiers globally every year, we've seen an 8.5% decline of snow cover year over year over the last, decade over decade over the last 5 decades. So the trend is for less snow overall, which makes it harder to plan. You need to think about alternatives here.
Yeah, so the planning aspect becomes very important. And what about artificial snowmaking, though? Can that, lend us a lifeline? Our business is going to be using more of it. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, right. So for me and you as individual kind of skiers, if we were to do this, that could feel like a nice experience. The challenge with snowmaking is that in some ways it's a form of adaptation to changing climate patterns, right? However, snowmaking requires lots of water, some of which goes back into the reservoir at the end of the season, so less perhaps of a problem in some regions. But it also requires lots of energy, which in particular in times of stress of energy, where a lot of what we're talking about is enough energy security and energy reliability to meet our actual pressing demands, then adding to this energy demand with artificial snow for what is a tourism industry, right, seems like it would create additional challenges down the line. There was one study in Canada that looked at Canada's ski tourism, and they estimated that if Canada were to produce enough snow artificially to basically match what they get naturally, that would consume the equivalent amount of energy and CO2 emissions as 60,000 households, roughly. So with these estimates, you really see if you were to swap this and use that lifeline, then you're creating potentially additional issues that have broader implications outside of our tourism activities.
Yeah, so it comes with a cost, and I imagine it also comes with a cost to the bottom line for these companies as well that have to pay for electricity usage, of course. So energy-intensive activities will, impact them as well. And hopefully not the price of our ski tickets. Anything you want to end with a takeaway for investors here?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, again, in the holiday season, globally, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're thinking about this, but it's not that the skiing tourism industry is a huge part of the global economy, although about 400 million people do participate in it every year, so it's significant still. But the reason why we looked at it was just as one other example of all of the ways in which these abstract topics that we talk about, like reducing carbon emissions or limiting global warming by a degree or a degree and a half, really have meaningful impact across the world. So this for us will mean investing in those energy efficiency alternatives, investing in those adaptation and climate mitigation solutions, which we always talk about, and we'll have plenty of more time to speak about in the new year as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Amantia. It was great having you today. For our viewers, for more information, visit ubs.com/views. UBS Trending is on social media. Follow us on Instagram at UBS Trending for content that you won't find anywhere else. You can also check out LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for more. As always, if you have any questions about your portfolio, please speak with a financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Michelle LaLiberty. Have a great day, and remember to keep your eyes on what's trending.